could have a resolution to move into variation board, please.
Oh, before we go, we have to get out of
Get out of camera. Okay.
So resolve that as per section 152, 4 of the municipal council of the Rural Municipality of St. Clements does now resume sitting of regular meeting.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang. Second, please. Councillor Corbis.
And one last thing, Madam Mayor, is there somebody coming on Zoom?
I don't believe so, no.
No, I have nobody registered. Do you have anybody that registered with you to be on Zoom? No?
Okay, then we can proceed with that.
Okay. I'll call the question then. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Oh. Is it working? Oh. Doesn't want to work, Valentina?
Still flashing.
It's kind
Oh,
of
okay.
There you go. Oh, you can turn yours on. I just turned mine off. We'll turn it off at the same time. Okay. So we can go into the variation. So Madam Mayor, we'll go into the first one.
Yeah, and it's variation order number 18 of 2025, and if I can have a resolution to go into variation board, please.
Resolve that the regular meeting be adjourned and the public hearing be open for variation order 18 of 2025.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Corbis seconds, all in favor, opposed, and that is carried. So I will hand it over to you, Valentina, if you can just walk us through that, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm good.
We're good.
Okay, so this is a variation application number 18/2025, located on 81022 St. Peters Road. And the purpose of that application is to allow an accessory building to be constructed before principal building in our agriculture restricted zone. The applicant would like the accessory building to remain on the property until November 2027 while the principal building is constructed. So by the zoning bylaw of St. Clements, accessory building prior to the principal building are not allowed. Permitted building structure may not be constructed prior to obtaining the permit for the principal building. So the proposal is to allow an accessory building on the main property until the construction of the principal building is done, and they're asking for November 2027. Here we can see our location map of the subject property, some site plan from the applicant for the future application and conditions of approval. Should council wish to approve this application, the RFPD recommends the following conditions: that variance is limited to what has been presented. Any other changes will require new variance approval. The applicant obtain all required permits from RFPD and the municipality if required. Applicant to pay any outstanding taxes and arrears or any utility fees or fines. And the applicant owner apply for the curbside collection program as outlined by the bylaw 3/2023. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you for that, Valentina. Any questions from council to the planner this evening? Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
Valentina, just one clarification question, just for clarity. So the accessory building is actually the garden suite mobile home that was allowed under conditional use 2023?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions of the planner? I see the applicant is in the audience. Do you have anything that you want to add to the application, Brandon?
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Do you want to just come up to the podium, please,
Sure.
so we can all hear you? Thank you.
Thank you. The only thing that I would like to ask for an amendment on is in the council package, it says the applicant is now proposing to start the main dwelling by November 30th of 2027. The next line also says that the building will be complete November 30th of 2027. I'm confident I can build a strong house, just not that fast. So I would like to see that amended to 2025, please. We have engineered prints and we're ready to start the permit process. Just along the last variance order, it had a start date of November 30th of 2024, which was obviously not abided by.
Okay, anything
That's all.
else?
So,
No questions for the applicant from council? No, you can have a seat, and if
Thanks.
anybody else has anything, is there
Madam
anybody?
Mayor, may I ask a question?
Oh, sure.
You're proposing to start sooner. I think the proposal that's been put forward by planning says you must start before November 27th, 2027.
correct, yeah.
Right. So if you started sooner, you wouldn't need an amendment.
Yeah, but the next line says I need to be complete by the same date. So one of those need to be amended.
What does the variation say?
It can say, go ahead.
Go
Again, I
ahead.
guess, I hope I'm reading your mind correctly. The problem is if we amend it now, doesn't that have to be recirculated and?
Well, not only that, what if it's missed by weeks? He's going to have to come back to council again. I'm trying to give the greatest flexibility for him to be complete
Understood.
by, so that's why I'm trying to figure out what's the, like if there's permit delays or anything else, then you're coming back to council for yet again.
Yeah, as long as council and neighbors and everything are fine with those dates reading the way they are, that is fine, but our intent is to start this summer.
So it's up to council. This is, I just, that forward for
Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
So, I know the resolution is pretty general. It says as per the application. But maybe we should be adding in that date.
To be
for
completed by
clarity.
November 30th, 2027, I think would be the more
Yeah.
reasonable. Forget about the start date.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's, if that makes sense
Mhm.
to council.
Just gonna skip it.
Okay, so there's just that one small amendment then with the completion date, that it's to be completed by November 2027.
Yes, please.
Does that work? Okay, you're good for now, Brandon.
Thank you.
I know there's a few other people in the audience this evening. Is there anybody else who wanted to speak to this application this evening?
I'd like
Come forward and state your name for the record, please.
Nicole Yuzma.
Thank you.
So we are neighbors, direct neighbors. We are opposed to sort of the way that the variance is presented right now. Originally, this variance to apply to allow garden suite fires to principal residents was supposed to, principal residence was supposed to be started by November of 2024. And that didn't happen. At the time when this was proposed back in 2023, us, the neighbors, we had concerns, but we didn't actually directly oppose it, wanting to be sort of decent neighbors. We understood that what was going to happen. We were, not opposing the variance to allow a garden suite prior to a principal residence. We didn't understand that there was going to be a mobile home being moved onto the property. We thought it was going to be an RTM that was being moved, similar to sort of an RTM that we had built years ago. It is a trailer. It's a new trailer, but it is a trailer. It's a mobile home. When I look at the developments around us, directly south and north of us, Fuller Road, Bridgeview Estates, they are zone rural residential, those developments, and you cannot even apply for a conditional permit to put a mobile home there. My property that's directly adjacent, in the future, there's plans to possibly, have that rezoned, and I would like to see rural residential there, just like Bridgeview did and Fuller Road did, and I would not be able to put a mobile home in there. We, 10, 15 years ago, came to council when somebody else tried to put a mobile home on a piece of property between me and my neighbor. That was turned down. The comments from council at that time were, if this was being discussed elsewhere in the municipality, we wouldn't even be discussing it. A mobile home does not fit in where we are with the types of properties that we have. We've got, it hurts our property valuations having a piece of property like that between us with a mobile home standing over there right now. It's been done and I understand that, but they missed the opportunity they applied for the variance, they got it, but they haven't complied with it. Now they're asking for another one. And possibly they do start this fall. But I guess our concerns is we allow another variance, and what if it doesn't happen? Life happens, circumstances change, people have the best intentions, so that doesn't stop life from happening. So we are concerned that we are gonna be stuck with a mobile home, between our properties, that, hurts our property values, it hurts the surrounding neighborhood. I don't think that if we had known, or I know for sure, the only reason mobile homes allowed there is we thought it was going to be an RTM, that was a garden suite, and the principal home would be starting to go last fall, and that hasn't happened. So, if anything, we would like to, at a minimum, I guess, see that there at least be, I'm not sure you call it, the application be actually cemented that they have to start building this year, if anything. But if not, that mobile home needs to go. That's where we're coming from.
Okay, thank you for that, Nicole. Is there anybody else who wishes to speak on this application?
Your turn.
Hi, I'm Donna Hastings and I live north of the property. So, years ago, we kiboshed a mobile home going right next to us, about 10 years ago. So here, we thought it was an RTM going to be built there, and it is a mobile home. So we are completely opposed of keeping it there and extending it. So, and everything that Nicole has said, I'll just agree with her. Okay?
Okay, thank you for that,
Thanks.
Donna. Okay, anybody else wishes to speak? Brandon, did you have anything that you wanted to add after you've heard what the neighbors have to say, or?
Yeah, there was some building plans in our original application that showed the outline of the home. Terminology between a mobile home and an RTM, I think, are interchangeable. A ready-to-move home is what was purchased and placed on the property, not a mobile home with an axle underneath it. So I think that is a terminology issue that is very commonly interchangeably used. In my opinion, it's a very nice RTM. There's many that are installed in St. Clements and in other municipalities as well. And there was building plans available in the original variance and the conditional use permit that was passed by council in July of 2023. In terms of property value, I mean, taxes came, everything was reappraised this last year, and I know the value of our property went up, and adjacent properties around it, that is public knowledge. So that would be my comment on those two items.
Okay, thank you for that, but I just have to ask for clarity purposes. Is it a mobile home that you want to place, or is it a ready-to-move home?
It is a ready-to-move home, and it's already installed on the property.
It's already on the property.
Okay.
And when was it placed on the property?
November of 2023.
November of 2023.
That was after the variance and the conditional use permit was granted in July of 2023.
Okay, and when are you planning to start a main dwelling on that property?
The main dwelling would be this fall
This fall?
of 2025.
Okay. I ask those for clarity purposes.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? Go ahead, Deepak.
Sorry, Madam Mayor.
That's okay.
Based on the comments that have been received from the audience and the applicant, maybe we do go back to what the applicant's proposing to give that level of clarity for the neighbors, that he must begin construction, which means permits are issued and ready by November 2025 and then complete by November 2027.
Okay, we could add that as a condition of the approval if council
The
so
council
wishes.
so wishes, yeah.
Okay, what is the wish? Okay.
Okay, I'll add it in as item number 5 for the resolution. Any more questions or close?
Anybody else have anything that they want to comment? I actually did have another question that came to mind. How big is the secondary building, or the RTM, how big is it? Like
The RTM is 1195.
1195,
Yeah.
so it's, what are the dimensions, I guess I'm looking for?
16 by 35?
Okay,
Pardon my math if it's incorrect, I
That's
apologize, but it could be no wider than 16 feet, just for transportation purposes.
okay.
Can I comment again there?
I will allow you to comment again, Nicole, yes.
Um,
To the council though, please.
okay, yeah, so there is a difference between an RTM and a mobile home. That's why they had to apply for a conditional use for a mobile home. Like, it is different. An RTM is not classified as a mobile home. Prior to the last application, we had a discussion with the neighbor, and it was our understanding that they had to classify it as a mobile home for them to get the permit to move it there, but it was going to be an RTM. My understanding from reading through the documentation and that I found online at the planning board is that there is a difference between RTM and mobile home, and this is a mobile home. It's classified as a mobile home. That's why they had to apply for the conditional use permit for the mobile home that got approved the first time. And again, we let it through the first time. I feel like this is our opportunity maybe not to make a second mistake, like a mistake again.
Okay, thank you for that. Any questions from council? Is council ready to deal with this application this evening? Okay, I will ask for a resolution to come out of the variation board then, please.
Resolved that the public hearing for variation order 18 of 2025 be closed and the regular session of council be reconvened.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, second. Councillor Horvis, all in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, is council ready to deal with this application this evening? Looks as if we are, so if we could just have the resolution come forward, please. Oh, sorry, Sandra, did you have a question? I apologize.
That's okay, Madam Mayor. I was just checking to see if the dates were all added in there.
Yeah, I'll have to add some of that,
Okay.
and Heather will update the resolution afterwards. So whereas the applicant owner tax roll number 407510 legally described as RL 193-PE 5495 and located at 81022 St. Peters Road has made application for variation order number 18 of 2025 from accessory buildings or structure may not be constructed prior to obtaining a building permit for a principal building to accessory building to remain on the property until November 2027 without a primary dwelling. Purpose, the applicant seeks permission to allow an accessory building to be constructed before the principal building in the agricultural restricted zone. The applicant would like an accessory building to remain on the property until November 2027 while the principal building is constructed. Therefore, be it resolved, variation order 18 of 2025 be approved with the following conditions. 1, the variance is limited to what has been presented in this application. Any further changes, replacement, or additions would require new variance approval. 2, applicant owner obtains all required permits from Red River Planning District and the municipality if required. 3, applicant order to pay any outstanding taxes and arrears for any utility fees or fines. 4, applicant owner to enroll in the curbside collection program as outlined in bylaw 3 of 2023. 5, applicant owner to obtain building permits and begin construction by November 2025 and completion by November 2027. Approval shall expire if not acted upon within 12 months of date of making.
Okay, thank you for that. Can I have a mover? Councillor Boulanger is moving. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Spicer is seconding. Any other questions or comments? I will then call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And it is carried. We will move on. The next variation, I believe the next one we have is combined subdivision and variation. And it is file number S243076. And if I can have a resolution to move into variation board.
Before we go into the variation, I think we're starting off with the subdivision, aren't we?
Oh, correct,
So,
correct,
since
sorry.
there's no public hearing for the subdivision,
Yeah.
we'll go straight into the
Yeah, we
subdivision.
can do that.
we're gonna go through them together as combined, though.
Right.
Okay. So this is a subdivision application S 243076 located on 79014 St. Peters Road. And the purpose of that application is to create a total of 2 lots in AR agriculture restricted zone. Here we can see our location map with highway control zone restrictions and 2 separate by the river lots, but they actually one title. So, okay, subdivision application map with a proposal. And summary of the proposed lots. We have 2 lots in total that are proposed. By the zoning law of St. Clements, it's supposed to be 4 acres in site area and 198 feet width. The lot number 1 in compliance with both of those. Lot number 2, yes, for a site area, but no for the width, is a little bit less than required. RPD analysis, that proposed lot does not comply with the site width and the side yard. There is 4 actually accessory buildings that are too close to the side yard. That's why we required from applicant to demolish or remove those 15 feet from the property line. Is going to be one of the conditions for that subdivision also. And the proposal aligns with the general intent of resource and agriculture policies in our RPD development plan. We should know that. And our recommendation that application will be approved with the conditions. And conditions are that the applicant to submit confirmation in writing from municipality that taxes on the land to be subdivided for the current year and any areas have been paid, required applicable fees to be paid to, provide a digital copy of the plan, by applicant owner to prepare a drainage plan to be submitted to RM2, the applicant to submit written confirmation from Manitoba Hydro about the easement that they're requiring, and applicant owner obtains all the required variance, so about site width and lots if the accessory buildings if it's not going to be removed from the property, and the applicant owner brings 4 accessory buildings into zoning compliance by either relocating, removing, or they will have to go on variance for that too. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you for that. Any questions from council to the planner? Okay, this is the subdivision, so.
Yeah, we'll go to the variance.
I think we should probably do the resolution for the subdivision before we go into variation board. Mr. Administrator, do the variation.
We'll be holding this and
Okay,
then we'll come back to do the subdivision of the there.
okay, so then we'll move into variation board.
Okay, so
I think we need a resolution though.
To come back into, since this was a public hearing that was held earlier, so whereas the public hearing for the variation order 100 was adjourned on February 25th, 2025, regular meeting of council, and whereas council has requested the issue be brought back to the March 25th regular meeting of council, therefore be able to resolve variation order 100 of 2024 be brought forward.
Madam Mover, please. Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Strang, seconds. All in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, so go ahead, Valentina.
thank you. So this is a variance application number 100/2024, located on, this is a different, so it's 79014 St. Peters Road. And the purpose of that application is to reduce site with a residual lot, of the subdivision application, agricultural area 2. And it's supposed to be added here too, that accessory structure prior to the principal building will be required here too. Now we have a typo here, okay. Do you want me to edit right now on the slides? Because we're supposed to go through, somehow in my slides, there's just a previous application that connected only to the width and the side yard, but not for the accessory building prior to the principal building. The report itself includes it, only my slides are not updated. So, do you want to just read
So
it
the
out loud?
variance is for sorry for interrupting. So variances for the reduced site width residual lot in the subdivision, as in addition, agriculture restricted site width and accessory structure prior to principal building.
Yeah, exactly.
So
That's
those are
why
the
we
two things
tabled
I
it
can
before and we came back
Yeah.
to deal
So
with
there's
that.
only one accessory building staying.
Yeah, exactly. On the lot number 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
The big garage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, what's it?
I guess the south side there is, which,
Oh, no, it's, we have a proposed and residual, so it's going to be on residual.
On the residual.
On the residual.
Okay.
Sorry for that. Okay. Apologies for not on David's slide. So we're talking about the purpose of that application is to reduce site width of the residual lot and also to allow an accessory structure prior to principal building on the same property. Okay? And yeah, it's supposed to be written here. So the site width allowed by the zoning bylaw is implemented 198 feet and they're required 184.06 feet. Also, here's supposed to be accessory structure prior to the principal unit, that's not allowed, and they're asking to allow that as a result of the subdivision to shed that they're from 1940 or something like that, and it's very old.
the building,
Yeah,
built in 70-something.
I heard it maybe before, yeah, we have no permits, like from even 70s there, so it's maybe before that. Okay, so
Younger than mine.
The resolution is invalid.
the
Okay.
application map, the same, sound is the same. So just to be clear, it's supposed to be right there on the residual lot, close to the west water line of the property. So should council wish to approve this application, RFPD recommends the following conditions, standard ones. This variance is limited to what is being represented. Any other changes will require new variance and by applicant owner to obtain all required permits from Red River Planning District and municipality if required. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you for that. Questions to the planner from council? Okay, this is the variation. So the applicant is in the audience. Do you have anything that you want to add to the application? I know it was held over from our last meeting.
Yeah, everything is good. I'm happy
Everything?
with it.
Okay. Any questions from council? No. Okay, is there anybody else in the audience who wishes to speak on this application? Okay, if council is ready to deal with this one, we can move it forward.
Okay, so the first order of business is the subdivision itself. So,
The variation.
oh, that's right, I have to give a variation. Resolved that the public hearing for variation order 130 of 2024 be closed in the regular session of council be reconvened.
Can I have a
Or
motion?
wait, no, sorry. Yes. No, the variation, of- it's not 150, 100.
Right.
So closed at 100 of 2024, not 130.
Okay. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, second. Councillor Strang. Any other questions or comments? Call the question. All in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. So if I remember correctly, we deal with the subdivision first and then the variation?
Correct.
Okay.
So for subdivision, regarding subdivision application number S24-3076, proposed proposal 11 to subdivide river lots 227 and 228, plan 5495, parish of St. Peter. Resolved that council approve the said application subject to the following conditions. 1, applicant owner submits confirmation in writing from the municipality stating that A, taxes on the land to be subdivided for the current year and any arrears have been paid. B, require applicable fees to be paid as per bylaw 8 of 2023. C, provide a digital copy of the plan of subdivision to the Arm of St. Clements. D, applicant owner prepares a drainage plan to be submitted to the Arm of St. Clements for review and acceptance as per the servicing standard of the municipality. 2, applicant owner submits written confirmation from Manitoba Hydro that an easement agreement has been entered into Manitoba Hydro with respect to existing and or future facilities associated with the subdivision, and a plan of easement as required by the Real Property Act has been provided. Registration of this agreement will include as a condition of the final certificate of approval. 3, applicant owner obtains the required variance for the lot width from RRPD. And 4, applicant owner brings the 4 accessory buildings into zoning compliance by either relocating or removing them from the property. Permits may be required by RRPD.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Boulanger moves, Councillor Horga seconds. Any further discussion on this application?
I'd just like to make a comment, Madam Mayor.
Go ahead.
You do understand that you're getting permission for only one building to remain on the residual lot.
Yep.
And that means even if you move the other ones in, they cannot stay on the residual lot because you can only have one on
Yep.
that one.
Yep.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
All good?
Okay, I have a mover, I have a seconder. If there's nothing else, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. And now we have to do the variation.
So now we go into variation.
Wrong one.
Again, I apologize, Madam Mayor.
That's okay.
Whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 412100 legally described river lots 27 and 28, plan 5495, parish of St. Peter, and located at 79014 St. Peters Road, has made application for variation order number 100 of 2024 from site width 198 feet to site width 184.06 feet, from accessory building is not allowed prior to principal building to allow an accessory building to remain on the property. Purpose: to reduce the site width of the residual lot and to allow an accessory building to remain on subject property without a principal building as a result of a subdivision application S24-3076. Therefore, be it resolved, variation order 100 of 2024 be approved with the following conditions. 1, this variance is limited to what is being presented in this application. Any further changes, replacement, or additions require a new variance approval. 2, applicant owner obtains all required permits from Red River Planning District and the municipality if required. Approval shall expire if not acted upon within 12 months of date of making.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, second. Councillor Sutherland. Any further discussion on this application? Go ahead, Councillor Strain.
Just for some clarification, this lot, would that have to go into a tank now because it's not the 198, the magic number for the septic field?
There's a good possibility they'll have to have that discussion with the province.
Because the lot is this wide, it's 50 feet, they have to get that holding tank as opposed to a field.
Oh, yeah. Maybe.
Okay, any other questions? I have a mover, I have a seconder, and if there's nothing else, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, moving on to, I guess it's number 16 on our agenda. Road number 72 North, 32047, and again, it's a subdivision and a variation. So we will do the subdivision first. Okay, so we don't have to move into any kind of vote for that, so go ahead, Valentina.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So it's a subdivision application S2438-6 located on 32047 Road in 72 North. And the purpose of that application is to readjust the lot boundaries and create a total of 2 lots in the A80 agriculture general zone. So that's why I wrote it as readjust, because we have 2 lots and we're still going to have 2 lots at the end of it. Okay, so there's no additional lot being added here. So we have here an area allocation map of 2 pieces of the lands that we want to readjust. Here's the application map itself. And the proposed lot located in A80 zone, both of them, and residual one, A2 A2, but actually not the, it's kind of A80 and A40 and A42. That piece of land that we have up to the north, that's A40. But the main one is A80, but still, while the development plan was supposed to be 80 acres, so that policy of 80, and the majority of proposed land here is in A80. So we're gonna address it as A80, the whole plan. Propose what? A residual one, but the zoning law is supposed to be 80 acres and 300 feet. Proposed lot is no for site area and yes for site width, as the residual one too. Okay, our analysis here of the proposal is consistent with Red River Planning District, even though it's not going to be at the end A80, because one of the policies allows it to be less than A80. The proposed lot and residual lot do not comply with the acreage that requires by the zoning bylaw. That's why we will have to go for the variance here too. We will hear it afterwards. And no comments or no concerns, sorry, from Ministry of Agriculture we've got on that application. So our RPD recommends that the application be approved with the conditions. By applicant owner to submit confirmation in writing to the municipality that taxes on the land being to be subdivided have been paid, required applicable fees also been paid, provide a digital copy of the plan to RM2, by applicant owner to obtain all required lot size variances that we spoke before, and by applicant to submit confirmation in writing from the building environment and climate change that existing sewage ejector system has been decommissioned or certified exemption has been issued. They have that right, all the lots that propose more than 10 acres, so they can do that exemption too. And that's it that I have, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Any questions from council to the planner? Okay, we'll move into the variation board then.
Finally, resolve that the regular meeting be adjourned and a public hearing be open for variation order 130 of 2024, which I've tried to open a few times accidentally.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horwath, second, please. Councillor Sutherland, all in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Go ahead, please, Valentina.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So this is a variance application BO 130/2024, located on 32047 Road 72 Road. And the purpose of that application is to reduce side area requirements for both proposed and residual lots for subdivision application that we heard before in agriculture general zone. But the zoning law is supposed to be 80, so proposed lot number 1 proposes 21, and the residual one is 68.2 acres. Same location, same application subdivision map, and conditions are standard here for should council wish to approve this application. This variance is limited to what has been presented. Any other changes will require a new variance, and the applicant to obtain all required permits from us and the municipality if required. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you for that, Valentina. Any questions for the planner from council? Okay, the applicant is in the audience this evening. Did you have anything that you wanted to add to your application at this time? No? Okay, thank you. If council is ready to deal with this, we will come out of variation board and move them forward.
Resolve that the public hearing for variation on 130 of 2024 be closed on the regular session of council and reconvened.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Boulanger, Councillor Horwath, seconds. All in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. So we will do the subdivision first.
Yes, Madam Mayor. So regarding subdivision application S24-3086, proposal federally to subdivide part northwest and southwest 4-13-6E. Resolve that council approve the said application subject to the following conditions. 1, applicant owner submits confirmation in writing from the municipality stating that taxes on the lands to be subdivided for the current year or any arrears have been paid. B, required applicable fees to be paid as per bylaw 8 of 2023. If required, and C, provide a digital copy of the plan of subdivision to the RMC Clements. 2, applicant owner obtains the required lot size variances from Red River Planning District. 3, applicant owner submits confirmation in writing from Manitoba Environment and Climate Change that the existing sewage injector system has been decommissioned or certified exemption has been issued.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, second, please. Councillor Strang, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. And we can move on to the variation order.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 257850 and 258200 legally described as northwest and southwest 4-13-6E and located at 32047 Road 72 North has made application for variation order number 130 of 2024 from site area 80 acres minimum to site area proposed lot 21 acres and proposed lot 68.2 acres. Purpose to reduce the site area of the proposed lot and residual lot within the subdivision application as 24-386 to bring it into compliance with the subject property. Therefore be it resolved, variation order 130 of 2024 be approved with the following conditions. 1, this variance is limited what has been presented in this application. Other purchase changes, replacements, or additions will require new variance approval. 2, applicant owner obtains all required permits from the Red River Planning District and the municipality if required, and then approval shall expire if not acted upon within 12 months of the date of making.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, second. Councillor Spicer, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, and the last item on our planning agenda for this evening is subdivision variation for 41076 Road 93 North. And we will do the subdivision first, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So, subdivision application number is 24389, located on 41076 Road 93 North. And the purpose of that application is to readjust lot boundaries and create a total of 2 lots in a 40 agricultural limited zone. Here we have our location of the subject property. Subdivision application map shows us 2 lots going to be consolidated and 1 that will fence the farm land from the cultivated land. So, by the zoning bylaw, all lots supposed to be 4 acres and at least 300 feet. Proposed lot, no for the side area and yes for the side width less than 40, the proposed 10, and the residual lot will be in compliance. So our analysis here, restricted by the policy, the proposal is not consistent to the Red River Planning District Development Plan and objectives in RA and agriculture, in resource and agriculture designation. The proposal does not comply with the Acreage 2, with 840, a zone of RM supplement zoning bylaw, where we'll hear variance today too. We'll read that afterwards. So our recommendations are, an RFPD recommendation that application be rejected. However, if council wishes to approve this application, we'll recommend the following conditions: that by the applicant to submit confirmation writing that taxes on the land being subdivided will be paid, applicable fees will be paid, to provide digital copy of the plan, and by applicant owner to obtain all required variance from RRPT 2, and by applicant to submit confirmation in writing from Manitoba Environment and Climate Change that existing sewage injector system has been decommissioned or certified exemption has been issued. They can do it also. That's why they left those 10 acres of the farmland that they want to subdivide. Even though we recommended that application will be rejected, just for your consideration, that consolidations of those two almost 40 acres lot, they're really almost like 39.85. It's only the numbers that are not 40, and if we will combine them, we will be almost 80. So we're good then. Okay, to reach a minimum required coverage in that zone by the development plan. And the separation of the residents from the cultivated land to raise a family and maybe retire to, they acknowledge that in letter of intent for the future adheres to the main spirit of the policies in Red River planning. It's kind of adheres, it's not there exactly, but still it adheres. So we would say that this will be the same result, but from a different perspective, just for your consideration and that. Thank you, Madam Mayor, that's it that I have here.
Thank you for that. Go ahead, Councillor Boulanger.
No, I was just going to comment, I was going to make a comment prior to Madam Planner making her comments that planning is open to, being, flexible, and I'm glad for that, thank you. Because again, this is a simple 10-acre split, splitting off the home piece, leaving the rest for farmland. Simple, easy, and I'm glad that you guys are, planning has been a bit more flexible.
Yeah, for sure, it's the whole picture we have to see.
You have to look at everything, thank you.
Anybody else have anything? I just, one comment, but I think but the two pieces that are left are being consolidated together.
Yeah, for farming.
For farming.
Exactly.
Which is okay. Yeah. Like it was two long, narrower lots, and they're chopping off the 10 acres for the homestead, and then putting the two together to farms.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
That was the subdivision.
Yeah, we're going to continue with the variance then?
Yes, we can go to the variance if there's nothing. Go ahead, Scott. Sorry.
So, I guess I gotta put you on the spot here. So, realizing that this is a farmyard split, why would you reject it?
It's tricky to the policy, not going with the numbers.
Okay, so it's just basically because it's not
Exactly.
the amount of
Yeah.
acres.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Only because of that.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be 80.
yeah.
Everything that we consider, whatever, it's supposed to be 80. But when you consolidate those 40, you've got those 80. So,
Okay, no, I just thought I'd ask.
Okay, so we can move on to the variation then.
Resolved that the regular meeting be adjourned and the public hearing be open for variation order 134 of 2024.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Boulanger, Councillor Spicer seconds, all in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Go ahead, Valentina.
thank you, Madam Mayor. So this is a variance application view 134, 2024, located on 41076 Road 93 North. And the purpose of that variance is to reduce the required site area in A40 agriculture limited zone. The request is a variance of the condition from the subdivision that we heard before. So it's supposed to be 40 acres by that zone, by the zoning bylaw, and they proposed 10. And this is the subject property application map, subdivision map, and conditions for approval. Should council wish to approve this application, RPD recommends following condition. The variance is limited to what has been presented in this application. Any other changes will require new variance by applicant to obtain all required permits from the Red River Planning and Municipality if required, and confirmation from Arroyo San Clements that all property taxes and arrears are paid for 2024 tax year 2. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you for that. Any questions to the planner? Okay, the applicant is in the audience. Do you have anything that you want to add to the application?
No.
Okay, thank you. If council has nothing, I will ask to come on a variation and we can deal with both of those.
Resolved that the public hearing for variation order 134 of 2024 a closed and regular session of council be reconvened.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, Councillor Sutherland seconds. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, so if we could have the resolution for the subdivision.
Regarding subdivision application number 5 S24-3089, proposal of auto to subdivide Northwest 13-16-7E, resolve that council approve the said application subject to the following conditions. 1, applicant owner submits confirmation of writing from the municipality stating that A, taxes on lands to be subdivided for the current year or any arrears have been paid. B, applicable fees to be paid as per bylaw 8 of 2023 if required. C, provide a digital copy of the premise subdivision to the RO St. Clements. 2, applicant owner obtains all the required variances from RRPD. And 3, applicant owner submits confirmation in writing from Manitoba Environment and Climate Change that existing sewage injector system has been decommissioned or certified exemption has been issued.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Spicer, Councillor Horwath seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. And I guess we have the variation.
Whereas the applicant owner of tax roll number 622-300-622-310, legally described as Northwest 13-16-70 and located at 41076 Road 93 North, has made application for variation order 134-2024 from site area 40 acres minimum to site area 10 acres. Purpose to reduce the required site area within the A40 agricultural limited zone. The requested variance is part of the conditions of the subdivision application S24-3089. Therefore, be it resolved, variation order 134 of 2024 be approved with the following conditions. 1, the variance is limited to what is being presented in this application. Any further changes, replacements, or additions would require new variance approval. 2, applicant owner obtains all required permits from the Red River Planning District and the municipality if required. 3, applicant owner pay any outstanding taxes and arrears to any utility fees or fines. Approval shall expire if not acted upon within 12 months of the date of making.
Thank you. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horwath, second. Councillor Sutherland. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. And that concludes our planning for this evening. Council still does have a couple of other items to deal with this evening, so thank you very much.
Mark, maybe you could rent yourself a couple of acres there to make it even 80.
What's that?
Rent yourself a couple of acres to make it even 80.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, see ya.
Take care.
Madam Mayor, we still have one item to discuss in camera, which is the budget.
Oh, okay. Do you want to move in camera, or do you want to do the other ones first?
All those are on camera resolutions. So we can do those afterwards.
Okay. Okay.
Unless you want to do those now, then we'll go out on camera and finish.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We'll let give Valentina a couple of minutes to get cleaned up there. And
Yeah, so we'll go to in camera now and then.
okay.
Resolve the council recess the regular meeting, go to in camera to discuss legal and personal issues, and further be a resolve that all matters discussed are remain confidential as per section 83(1)(d) of the municipal act.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, Councillor Sutherland seconds. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Doors.
I guess we won't see you.
So we've been able to increase the reserve slightly a little bit based on that. Now, we had the budget of $50,000 for that. Now, the year before, we had $50,000